Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Monday morning, starting off another week here on Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate your viewership. As always, I'd like to get started with our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard, hard-working company, taking care of our everyday comfort needs. And it's going to be hot this week. It's going to be hot. A little bit of rainy, too. So just be prepared. Make sure that air conditioner is working good. How in the world all those folks before air conditioning, how in the world they do this in Florida? That's amazing. High today, 92, low 78. The all-important water temperature brought to us by Allco Electric. We're looking at 82.8, so we're going to say 83 degrees. Ironically, it's cooled down a little bit. Remember, it was up like 88 about 2 weeks ago, so it has cooled down some. That was extremely hot though at that time. Our Monday moon phase brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. I hope you got to see that full moon last Thursday and Friday night. It was spectacular. It really was amazing. They called that, I wrote it down, it was a buck moon, okay? That's what, I don't know where all these names come from, but it was really nice. But of course now, we're on a waning moon, still some good brightness out there, so we'll have for 2 weeks be waning and then it'll start waxing again for 2 more weeks and we'll have another full moon. All right, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Decent tides today. Now, the end of the week, now you see on the chart, not much going on, but today, high, middle of the day, 12:41, and low about 10:08 tonight. And our wind direction west-northwest at about 10 to 15. Like I say, some rain will be spotted throughout the area this week, and it's going to be really warm, so be aware of our weather conditions. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I was, each month I get the Woods and Water magazine. It's special to me because this magazine, we've been around a long time, and my brother and I used to just really talk about it all the time and share information. Did you read that? Did you read this? And it goes way back, and it's put together there around the Taylor County area, so it covers a little bit, but mainly in that area between the Big Bend and Panhandle and South Georgia. And it's always been special, and I admire it because through all the innovations and all, and newspapers going out of business, and no magazines are hardly circulating much anymore, and I said about that thing, this old Woods and Water has been just like this since the 70s, really. And I try to support it. I'll get a subscription to it, and I try to buy some extra, that Blue Water, whatever. But it's really good. They do a remarkable job. I'm trying to spend some time with the family that does this. And anyway, so I like to read things on it. So there are a lot of they cover a lot, like I said, around the Big Bend now. Which, for you folks out of town, the Big Bend is the area south of us. From about Franklin County line on down towards Cedar Keys, Steinhatchee, Keaton Beach, and all that. So I like reading that because a lot of times it's a reflection of what's going to happen here with different trout and redfish and different kinds of bites and all. So I made a copy of a couple of places. This is interesting because I will go here. They'll start off. This is a captain report from each area. So this is coming from the captains. The speckled trout are headed to deeper water. And these are like little testimonials. Here it is July, and what's going on down around Econfina, down in that area. The speckled trout are headed to deeper water. Well, guess what? Up here in the Panhandle, they're doing the same thing. So I like to sort of always compare it because there's a lot of similarities. And then over at Keaton Beach, this is a cool area, trout moving to the edges. And Captain Pat McGriff, I've known him a long time. He's got to have been fishing, I don't know, 100 years, I think, I swear. But he's been around a long time, and I enjoy reading his. And you want to, every 5 or 6 casts, he said, hold up to 8 or 10 feet line in front of you and sort of jig it, let the jig unwind. So he's got all kinds of little tips that goes in there. So that's his July, they're moving the edges. And then over here in Steinhatchee, scalloping is summer fun. Folks, most of my friends have scalloped in Steinhatchee. We have not been able to get down there, but it is just scallop, really a lot of nice places to go scalloping and down there. And it opens up in July, okay? And then Cedar Key, we're talking about 4 old fishing villages with Cedar Key, Steinhatchee, Keaton Beach. These are really true old Florida. But I like theirs. the captain said, just about everything in Cedar Key is biting now. It's summertime. Okay, so it shows pictures. There's a grandmother with a granddaughter catching some trout. I just thought that was really cool. And then let's jump up to Lake Seminole, and July is, okay, this is Captain Paul Tyree. He's a fishing guide over in Lake Seminole, topwater. I just want to make sure you saw that. Topwater action. I mentioned that on Friday's fishing report for the Sandhill Ponds about how topwater action is just so good, and it's one of the favorite months. This captain says one of the favorite months. And then an interesting article, well, this is Lake Chalcoin and Lake Jackson. Okay, this guy, he's sort of, Cliff Mundinger's been a while, and he's a guy, he's been around a while too. And find it, fish it, and love it. Basically what he was talking about here, I was reading it, just, this is a guy from Calhoun County. That's a 10-pound bass, and he actually caught it over in Washington County, and on a 10-inch jelly worm. Okay, let me blow that up. That's right there. Okay, but it caught it a couple years ago. But anyway, this time of year, caught it this time of year. All right, so the situation on those situations, you see, that covers the area, and that's why I just really love this magazine. And I always have some other interesting articles, and one I got into, let me see. This, we talk about this land, agricultural land, farms, being sold out to development and all kind of things about we're trying to save as much land as we can, and you know how we feel about that. Well, there's a story that I just read with so much interest. I'm going to show it to you. Here it is right here. How the biggest recreational land deal in Georgia history just closed. I started reading this, and it's talking about this guy named Jake Paul bought it. Now I don't know who Jake Paul is. Jeff, you know who Jake Paul was? Okay, we heard of him. And I looked him up last night. And he's a former boxer, but he grew up in Ohio, had a brother, and went to church growing up and all. He seemed like a pretty good guy, I guess. But anyway, he bought this, and it's $142 million deal. So I think the guy got a $4 million on it, but. The deal was the phone rang on Sunday night. The wife said, "Don't take it," but he took it. But what he's talking about, here's the guy. Here's Jake Paul, okay, and he was a boxer, an influencer, an actor, and all that. So he was born in '97. So anyway, so what I'm going to tell you real quick. I'll tell you what. Let's take a break, and I'll come back and tell you what I was thinking about. I'll be right back. Okay, real quick, let me finish up on what I was talking about. Was closed out. The Southlands plantation was part of that deal. He just bought a bunch of it, and his goal is to just keep it natural. Don't let it be developed. But right here, Jake Paul, he bought the Southland plantation, 5,750 acres in southwest Georgia for $39 million, a staggering $6,800 per acre. That's the highest recreational land sale ever recorded in the region. And they just wanted, like I said, right there at the top line, restoring wild lands. And that's so cool to see that. And they're going to buy some adjacent land to it and make it part of it. It's really, really neat because we still have vast areas where this can happen. So I was pleased to see that. Okay, now let's jump in. We've got enough on that. Let's jump into got a video. I was talking about inventions and cool things in the outdoors, and I just I get a thrill over any kind of little invention that make the outdoors a little bit better, and I was thinking about the creativity of it. So we're gonna watch about a 7-minute video, and then we'll take a break and come back. I'll have some more pictures to show you. So Jeff, let's go ahead and roll this video. Okay, folks, I promise you one of the booths I was going by was these guys with the square hooks, okay? Okay, so here's Vince Hurtado, bass master fisherman, and you've got a great background in bass fishing. First of all, you corrected me, it's not a square hook.
It is not a hook.
Okay.
A hook has a traditional round bend.
Okay.
This is a hook. What we are saying is this is a trap.
Okay.
All right.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in this.
Well, my background background is I'm a former Elite Series professional. Back in 2006, fished the Bassmaster Elite Series. I live out in California. We've got some great bass waters out there, as well as crappie, bluegill, a lot of panfish. And I was approached about a year and a half ago with a product that was developed actually 6 years ago. And this was a kind of a rough foundation of what we have today. 6 years ago, and now, after a year and a half of over 400 documented fish catches on our GoPro, we have our final product, which is our trapper.
All right, so you did a lot of R&D. I mean, when they first sent this to you, what did you think? You got this in the mail. What did you think?
I was thinking, what in the world is this square box doing on a hook? but after really paying close attention, I realized a lot of things. And in order to realize that, I had to start with our original J hook. Yeah. And that's how I'm going to start here. So your traditional round bend hook is a J style, whether it's wide gap or not. And what happens is that as it goes through the fish's mouth, we have this round bend. So it canters back and forth. Okay, so by cantering back and forth, you actually create a bigger hole, right? And some of the other manufacturers here, they actually have a cutting edge. Okay, they like to promote a cutting edge. Well, if you have a cutting edge and it goes through, it's like a scalpel. So when y'all ladies get your ears pierced, you use a needle because the hole becomes round, not a little scalpel that will pierce your ear and leave a slice, because a slice will end up ripping. So we use basically a piercing point and not a cutting edge. Okay, so now we have the point taken care of, and now we're going to go lead right into the trapper box here on this, what we would say is a hook right there. There's the trapper box. So with the trapper, when the fish bites, it goes into the fish's mouth. And once it goes into the fish's mouth, this back 90 right here does not allow it to rotate forward or rotate backwards or rotate side to side. And thus it actually keeps the fish locked.
Okay, cool.
All right? So it's kind of hard to see past the box, but don't even look at the box because there's your original hook. But more importantly, because this holds fish on longer, it also holds your bait on longer. So your bait will actually sit into the trapper box itself. So no more making those extra casts, and then all of a sudden you bring it in and you're like, gosh, you got to kind of bring it back, and you make another cast. Gosh, this actually sits right into the channel. And by sitting into the channel, the fish bites it, exposes our piercing point, you set the hook.
You get more casting.
More casts, higher percentage of catching fish, more time fishing. We can't all be Kevin Van Dam making 50,000 casts, but now we can get close, right?
Hey, that is great.
So this was our award-winning Best in Show drop shot hook, and unlike some manufacturers, what we've done is every bend within the hook has a purpose. So if we look at the line tie as opposed to the hook point, there's your true bite. Some other hooks you might find that they're equal. So what happens is when you put a bait on the hook, it becomes a hook protector. So all we want to do is encourage you to put your bait in and just set the hook. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
That's a great idea. And you caught a lot of fish already.
I have. We've got, I've got about over 400 documented on film, just in research and development. But we've come a long ways. They're actually going to be shipping at the end of the year and be available January. And actually, if you go on to trappertackle.com, you can register there. We're actually sending out free hooks.
Oh, great. All right.
So
you hear that? Well, congratulations on Best of Show. And it's a great idea.
Thank you, Winston.
Hi, folks. This is Larry Davidson. Hey, Larry.
How are you?
Okay. This is the brains behind this trapper hook. Now, I guess what made this start rolling in your brain? You were a fisherman, obviously.
Yes, I've been at it for a lot of years, probably over 40 years. Fish tournaments, many years, out of the Northeast. And I started way back in 1975. I designed a fishing tournament trail, ran it for 18 years, so I've been at it for a long time. And I wish way back then I had thought of this idea, because it could have paid off big time back then for the tournaments, but unfortunately that's not what happened. I was actually out pleasure fishing one day. out from under the log, it engulfed that whole lure. I come up on that fish, and you would think coming up, instead of at an angle, you'd have that fish in the boat. I lost him immediately. And for the rest of the day, I contemplated that, and it was circling around in the head, and then lo and behold, I started thinking, if I could have kept that point of the hook exposed to the fish instead of embedded in what they call Texas rigging, I would have had a much better chance of catching that fish. So I realized also at the same time that if you did that, there'd be nothing to hold it where the point was or where the body of the hook was. It would float up and down wherever it wanted to go, and you'd be coming through the water kind of swirly. And so I thought, geez, I need to figure out how to lock that lure in there. And the more I thought about it, I thought, geez, if I can lock the lure in there, I'm going to lock the fish in there. And so finally, I got some old style hooks, and I sent them with my son to have the hardness taken out of them. He got that taken care of. I at home with my pliers whittling away at these things, and bent the hooks up, brought them back over. We re-hardened the hooks and went them out. And unfortunately, I can't say that I'm the guy that caught the first fish. I wish I was able to say that, but I'm not. It was my buddy Alan that was with me. He caught the first fish. I grabbed the fish as he got to the boat, and I looked in the mouth of the fish, and I just was like, oh my God, everything I thought happened right in front of me. That was totally amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome story.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Good story. Okay, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. That was very interesting. Let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. How about 2:43 to 4:43 this morning, and this evening 3:06 to 5:06. And this is interesting to me. I'll read this to you first, and I'm going to show you something. Okay, right here. This is if you want to believe that the world is terrible, watch the news. If you want to believe that the world is incredible, spend time in nature. Is that not true? And so it leads me to, I saw the news last week, you may have seen it too, a little news special. I don't watch near as much news as I used to, but I still watch some of it, especially trying to find good stuff. And this was national news, but they found a group of parents, and the parents were kids, they were teenage, preteens, they were preteens what they were, and a group of parents, and they hooked them up with landline telephones, okay? So the kids, they can call their friends, but it's got to be and they showed the kids like in the kitchen, on one of them had a cordless phone, one had a landline, and it was hilarious. But I got to thinking about that might be a new trend coming back, because the parents are having so much trouble controlling this. It's just almost impossible. I mean, you can take it away, and but it's still so evident in our society. So that's going to be interesting to follow that. We'll try to encourage more of that. Speaking of kids, here's a situation here. FWC has a kid. Okay, this is basically just recognizing a kid doing an artist. Okay, so here he is right here, this young man, and this is his art. He's down in South Florida. But isn't that a great drawing, a painting right there? And they recognize him. But I thought that was so cool. They said he loves fishing, he loves nature, loves getting outdoors, and I think this is great. So and we encourage more things like that. And then here locally, my buddy over here in South Walton, a baseball coach, and put outdoor education program in South Walton High School. Remember last Thursday and Friday, we talked about that Buck Moon and Sweet Summer. That's the two boys, and they're obviously, that's on Choctaw Bay. They live somewhere in Choctaw Bay, I'm sure. And but is that not a great setup? I got several pictures here, and they're, I don't know. Obviously the bugs aren't biting because there's the moon rising. They got a campfire going there. They're on the sand. They got the rods on the holders, and I just think I've got a couple more pictures. Look at that campfire. Does that not look inviting in the summertime? Now you can make some s'mores when it gets down to cold like that. That's a great time to make s'mores. And here, now this is the oldest one. Now he's a junior. He's going into senior year, and he is a heck of a baseball player. He's going to get drafted pretty high, I think, next year. But big old boy too, and a good ball player, well mannered. I got to meet him this past year when they came down and played Arnold. Well mannered, and here they are. They're put something. He got a fish right there. They were catching. And I asked, okay, so anyway, another picture or two. You see what he got the rod bent. So I sent. There you go. He's coming back to the fire, and so I sent him. I sent him a text right here. I said, "Hey, this is great. I'm going to put this on Panhandle Outdoors." And Nick said they were catching catfish, stingrays, and rat reds. But every time the rod folds over, they think it's another bull red. So I just think that is so cool, and I appreciate this time of year is great. Summertime is just special. So things should slow down as far as kids aren't in school, and get them in something like this. Even if it's just going out for floundering or night fishing or Saturday morning fishing, we'll get them involved. Okay. And speaking of getting involved here, let's end with this. The Good Old Boys Bass Tournament. It's going to be over here. It's going to be right around the corner, July 26th on the Choctawhatchee River, 4:30 a.m. And you register at the store on Highway 81, right there in Bruce. And you can launch at any public ramp from Cedar Tree to Black Creek. And at the store, hot biscuits and bait will be available. Even if you don't go to the tournament, you can stop by and get a hot biscuit. And there's the fee right there. And of course, the prizes are dependent on the number of entries. And optional $20 trash fish, which would be the mudfish or jackfish. David and Andre putting that on. And what a great cause right there. So we'll talk more about it, and we want to promote anything like that going on here in the Panhandle. We want to promote it because this is good outdoor stuff. Speaking of good stuff, we've got to wrap it up for today. Appreciate your viewership. We've got the guests coming on tomorrow. Y'all do something good for someone else today. You have a great day. Let's enjoy the outdoors and let's take care of it. And God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.